Hi, it's John. Welcome to my channel EV Intuition, where I'm helping you understand about electric vehicles. Tesla recently had a software update where they included a very useful feature, that being the battery health test. Now, Tesla has had a battery health test in the past, but it was only accessible through a service menu that was kind of hidden and wasn't very user-friendly. Now they have it right in the main menu, and that's very useful for two reasons. One, if you're looking to buy a Tesla, it's a great way to understand the health of the battery of the vehicle that you're buying. And that's, as I've said in the past, the number one thing you want to know about an electric vehicle. And two, if you own a Tesla today, it's a great measure of where your battery health stands at the current time. So I'm going to talk about how to do the test and show you the results of my 2-year-old Tesla Model Y long range. Let's get started. Before I begin, I want to remind you that if you like the content of my videos, please subscribe to my channel and give me a like. Also, send me any comments that you may have. Today we're talking about the Tesla battery health test, which has been recently added via a software update to all Tesla vehicles. Now, I recently ran this test, and I'm going to show you how to run it and the results I got. And recall, I have a Tesla Model Y long range that I purchased in May of 2023. And I have driven it over 30,000 miles in those 2 years. So let's see where I come out with this health test. In order to run the Tesla battery health test, you want to start at the main screen in your vehicle. A couple things to notice about the starting point my screen. First, at the top left, the state of charge of my vehicle was at 10%. Tesla recommends that this value be as low as possible, certainly under 20%, because it's going to discharge your battery. Another thing to notice was the current value of the odometer. I was at 31,105 miles. And the last thing was I started at 6:22 p.m. because I knew that this test would run throughout the evening. Now, from this main menu, you want to click on the vehicle icon in the lower left portion of your screen. By clicking that, that'll bring up your main menus. Once there, select the service menu. By touching the service menu, you'll see a bunch of boxes that appear. Select the battery health option at the lower right, which I've circled in green. Once selected, it brings up the battery health screen. And it shows me in green that my battery is healthy, but it doesn't give any value associated with it. And then it says to basically get a value of how your battery compares to when it was new, you need to run the battery health test. And it only allows you to run that test every 6 months. By clicking on the battery health test button, it will bring up the battery health test screen, which gives you some warnings. First of all, it indicates that you must be connected to an AC charger and that the test could run up to 18 hours. It then also indicates what's going to happen during the operation. It's going to discharge your battery and then recharge it to 100%. And it says avoid interacting with the vehicle during that time. Notice that at the bottom, I had not connected my vehicle to an AC charger, so a couple of those icons there were not greened. Given that, what I did was grab my home charger and opened the charge port and plugged my home charger into my Tesla. Once I did that and went back to the battery health test screen, I noticed that all the requirements were now satisfied and were showing in green. So that meant I can then begin the test, and then I hit the Start Test button. Once I did that, it went to this screen that indicated that the test had begun, it was discharging the battery, and had 18 hours remaining. Going back to the vehicle several hours later, I noticed that it was still running the test, had 17 hours remaining, and the battery level was at 1%. So I knew the test was going to take a long time, and rather than going back to the vehicle numerous times, I opened my Tesla app and it gave me information about the state of the test. And here are 4 screenshots that I took when looking at that status through the evening and then in the early morning when it was almost complete. Then about 6:30 in the morning, I got a message on my phone indicating that the battery health test had completed. So I then proceeded to open my Tesla app, and it showed me the result, 89%. It also indicated the result would be shown on the screen in the vehicle. But basically, I cleared the result in the app, and it showed me the final state of the vehicle showing at 100% state of charge. I proceeded to go to my vehicle screen a little later, and it gave me the same result as I expected, and basically said that the energy retention for this vehicle was in range of what could be expected for a vehicle with this mileage in this age. And with that result, the test was complete. So when I saw the result of my test, I was a little disappointed. 89% for a car that's 2 years old. It's been driven a little more than average for a vehicle. I don't know if it's more than average for an electric vehicle, but 89%, which means I guess they're saying that I've lost 11% from when the battery was new. Now, I ran the original health test that's accessible through the service menu 1 month after I got the vehicle, and it was at 100%. So I knew it started at 100. Now it's down to 89% after a couple years. But I did look at what other people were getting on the net, and this seems to fall right in the area other people were getting. So I don't think it is as bad as I initially thought. Keep in mind that I've been trying to take good care of the battery. I don't charge it to 100% per the guidelines and recommendations in the user manual from Tesla. I only charge it to 80% unless I'm going on a road trip where I'll need the extra range. And I don't let the battery state of charge fall below 20% in general. I try to keep it in general between 30 and 70%. So anyway, I've been trying to take care of the battery. That's where it is. It's at 89%. I'll continue to do more of these tests as I own the car, and we'll see how that battery continues to degrade. So anyway, I hope you found this very useful, and I encourage you that if you're looking for a Tesla, a used Tesla, make sure you get that battery test, health test report to understand where that battery is, and make sure you're getting a vehicle that has a good operating battery. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.